Hello, welcome back to our basic discussion of HTML. So, we have this page here. I'm going to save it and get this. I've modified this text a little bit. Semantic markup makes sure HTML easy to interpret by a browser, screen reader, or web crawlers. Nice to note, but also note that I have a layout here that's not reflected in the HTML, and we'll revisit that. Remember, white space means nothing in HTML. So that's what's happening there. I realized I used comments without discussing them, so let's take a look at HTML comments. They begin in a way that's not symmetric with their end. Begin tag, or less than sign, exclamation point, 2 dashes, followed by 2 dashes, and then exclamation point. Visual Studio Code has a shortcut for making comments. Control spacebar. Make an empty comment, or you can select some text, for example. And then same shortcut. And I'll save this. And of course, I've commented out that remark, so it doesn't show up in the web page itself, as you can see. And now I will undo that. Control Z, undo. By the way, redo is Control Y, so you can toggle back and forth on that. So HTML comments. So the next thing we wanted to do is discuss the input tag and its disabled characteristic. So the input tag allows text input. So I'll start this, hit the tab key, save the HTML, and we have our input tag here. I'll copy that and paste it a couple of times. I'm going to add an additional attribute for this tag. So here's three input tags here, and we've created them here. This one being disabled, and you can see it's grayed out. Here's an alternative way to write this. Because in the case of this disabled attribute, the additional information here adds nothing. So this is called a boolean attribute. It doesn't need to be set equal to any kind of string, and sometimes you'll see them as attributes, and that's perfectly fine. And you can see that it works the same way. So of the two forms, this one is to be preferred for boolean attributes. The next thing I wanted to discuss is entity references. So there's 5 special characters that are a part of the HTML syntax that need to be escaped when you're using a new HTML. And those 5 characters are noted here. There's a recipe to make this. So when you look at this, it can be a little bit like, what does that mean? But it's really a simple recipe. For the 5 characters, you want the ampersand, begins with an ampersand. Then you have an abbreviation in between here, and then a semicolon. So ampersand, abbreviation for less than, and then semicolon, comma. This will show up on the page itself. Then greater than, a quote, a double quote, or an apostrophe, sorry, a single quote, a double quote, and then the ampersand itself to escape the ampersand character. And we see them over in the HTML here. Less than, greater than, double quote, single quote, ampersand. Those are the things you need to if you want those characters to show up on your web page. Because if I just typed out a bare less than sign here, the browser interprets it is going to see it as the beginning of a tag, and it's going to be a malformed tag too. Okay, so that's it. So HTML comments, boolean attributes that don't need extra information, just turns it on, and then the 5 special characters, less than, greater than, quotes, a double quotes, single quotes, and ampersand that need to be escaped because they are characters used in the HTML syntax.